Georgia, good morning.
Good morning. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, excellent. Tell me about the British Bulldog. You're keeping the legacy alive.
Yes, so I run my dad's social media. I've got a website for him going. I've got different merchandise companies going on with him. I've got a few other projects on the go, which hopefully in the future I'll be able to talk more about. But yeah, it's just, as I said before, like he's been gone for nearly 20 years, but he is busy. Every day is something new. Every day is something exciting. Every day it's a new door opening. It's crazy. It's exciting though.
That's awesome. So you've been connecting with a lot of the fans. It's, he did pass away when you were pretty young, so that's kind of good. You connect with the fans, and I bet you've been learning even more about your father now.
Even more, exactly. And it's been like a healing process, because every day on his Instagram, which is now like blown up, he gets like 100 followers a day, but every day is something new. And yeah, I love it. And I'm just so happy that it's all happening, and it's happening like at a rapid speed. And it's like I was saying, it's been like a healing process for me, because every day I see a picture of him or a video of him, and it touches me in some way, or it makes me remember him. Yeah.
That's got to be pretty cool when people share old photos. Like I saw you post one the other day, and it was him playing Nintendo at some company that, the Nintendo Power Company or something like that. So
yeah, there was that. And then there's another one where he's like on the carpet, and it's like old school, and he's playing like Mike Tyson Punch Out. Yeah, and all these fans, like they bring on like these new pictures of him or like new videos of him that I've never seen before. And I'm like, whoa. And people say to me, like, what happens if you run out of content? And I'm like, well, I don't think that's going to happen, because it's all the time something new.
Yeah, thank God for social media helping you keep the legacy alive.
Yeah, seriously, just one day I was like, you know what? There's like no real platform for my dad. And I just felt like there wasn't just anything really of him out there. There was like some tribute pages. And then I was just like, hey, like last New Year's Eve, like in 2019, I was like, I'm going to do this. And I didn't expect anything to happen. And
so you got the website, the Twitter, the Instagram, you got some
Facebook
shop, Facebook. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. He's very, very busy. And last SummerSlam, Chalkline made a jacket of him, but I kept asking Chalkline, like, a jacket needs to be made, and they made one. Oh yeah, and yesterday on FS1 they played this match. I got this shirt yesterday, coincidentally. I was gonna wear it for the Zoom, but I got something on it, like makeup, and I didn't want you to see that. So, but anyway, it came in the nick of time. Like, there's something always coming out of him, and I'm just so happy that's happening, because you know what, like there's been a lot of negative things or sad things in my family, and I wanted something positive. I wanted to do something positive, and doing this makes me happy, and it makes his fans happy. And if they wake up seeing something cool of my dad, then I feel like I've done my job.
Absolutely. And tell me a little bit about your family, because there's the British Bulldog. He married into the Hart family, which is the biggest wrestling families ever. And then it seems like everyone who was wrestling, Dynamite Kid, cousin, Owen Hart, brother-in-law, Bret Hart, brother-in-law. So like, what is the relationship there like, if you want to explain to people?
Okay. So my mom is one of 12 of the Harts. My mom is the 11th of 12. Owen was the 12th of 12. And my grandfather, Stu, was a wrestling promoter in Canada. And my dad came from England, him and Dynamite. And Dynamite, like you said, they're cousins. They came from England to Canada. And my mom, she had seen a promo picture of my dad and was like in love right away. Love at first sight. She met him, was in love with him. They got married. Let me see. It's such a complicated family. My Aunt Ellie, who is the first girl out of the 5 boys, she married Jim Neidhart, and they have Natalia, who's my cousin, Natty Natalia, who's a WWE diva. I have my brother Harry. He wrestles under my dad's name, so he's Davey Boy Smith Jr. And in WWE, he was David Hart Smith. Let me see who. There's so many, but yeah. In any case, my mom is one of the dozen of Harts, and she married my dad, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. And yeah, I've had such a crazy life, but I wouldn't change it for anything. My family is dysfunctionally wonderful.
Excellent. Did any of these on-screen feuds, like, cross over to Thanksgiving? You're like, Owen, put him down. Like, get him out of that headlock. Brett, back off.
They sometimes kept it like going, like with the storyline, because like, being 8 years old, you're seeing Brett and Owen fighting on TV, like not getting along, and then they'd kind of like pretend like to keep it going. But yeah, that was about it, really.
And then Stu comes in the room and he's just like the king of them all, and everyone's just like, okay, we'll stop, Dad. Don't worry.
That's yeah. There was the Hart House too. We'd have Sunday dinners at the Hart House every Sunday, and there was a wrestling ring in our backyard, and then we had the dungeon, or the basement, which was the dungeon. And as kids, it was crazy. Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, I wrestled in high school 1 year. Freshman year, I was like, I love wrestling. I love Hulk Hogan, British Bulldog, Jake the Snake. Let me put on this singlet and then go wrestle. And I was like, all right, this is too time consuming. So I'm just going to watch, I'll still be the Hulkamaniac, but I didn't still wrestle. But,
that's like me. Like, it was like my dad kind of had that talk early with me, like, this is not something you're going to be doing. Okay. I was like, yeah, I totally understand that. It was just because like it was such a male dominated sport back when he was in it.
Right.
It's changed a lot now with the women and stuff, but I think my dad just saw all of his injuries and the rigorous travel schedule, and he was just like, maybe we'll leave that to Harry.
Yeah. So did he encourage Harry to do it? Because I know he's wrestling now.
Yeah. It was something that I had the Barbie dolls. Harry had his wrestling dolls, action figures, and he was just encouraged, to follow his dream. And my brother's 6'5", like 250 pounds. Okay, so he was meant to be a wrestler. When he was born, my brother was nearly 2 feet long, and the doctor was like, heads up, he's going to be like 6'5".
Yikes. You definitely have some diva potential. I could see you in the ring, maybe, elbow dropping somebody.
Oh, God. My memory, like, I credit anybody who gets into it, because, like, I'm just like squirrel. Like, my attention span and my memory is not very good. And, like, you have to be physically and mentally on your toes and thinking of the next thing, and it's a lot of work, and it takes a certain type of person. But hey, I would love to work there in some capacity, but the wrestling, I wish they had like valet still. That would be cool. I'd be a good like valet, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Or referee.
I could see you as maybe a manager, coming out there with a megaphone.
Yeah,
but, you are involved. You're keeping the legacy alive. You're running all the sites. I see you're always meeting all these wrestlers, so I'm sure they're sharing some cool stories with you.
Mm-hmm. Which is great. Yeah, it's all like throughout this whole COVID thing, I've been trying to find like positives, and with the whole, unfortunately, like the Hall of Fame has been postponed, but I've just been trying to just keep fulfilled and doing this stuff with my dad. I love it. And I'm such a control freak. I'm glad that like it's me. I'm running the show. I'm the boss. I'm the Bulldog boss.
Yeah.
I love it.
You're keeping the bark alive, that's for sure.
Keeping the bark alive, exactly.
Love it. So your name's Georgia. Your dad's from England. He wrestled in Canada and Japan, and then you guys moved to Tampa. So how'd you get the name Georgia?
So my aunt Georgia, my mom's older sister. So there was Ellie, as I mentioned, Natty's mom, and then Georgia was the next daughter. That's my Aunt Georgia, and my mom named me after her. And it's not really a name you hear often.
No, definitely not. I love how all these wrestlers end up in Florida. Like I love Florida. It's like they go to Tampa. They're like, why do you think they pick it? It's because it's sunny and they just need to be tan year round.
Yeah, I guess it's just convenient. Like now with like the performance center, but I love it. I live in Tampa. I have 3 citizenships. I've got US, UK, and Canada.
Wow.
UK for my dad, Canada because I was born there, and then my mom was American from her mom, who's from Long Island, but we had to move to Tampa for WWE for my dad. So we got our citizenship, my brother and I. So yeah, my brother and I are tri-citizens.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I've heard of dual citizenship, but tri-citizen. Yep. All right.
The only other person I know who's got that is Mike Myers, the comedian.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's like a laugh. Hey,
Yeah.
my brother and I and Mike Myers are tri-citizens. So yeah, I've lived in England, Canada, USA, and I think Tampa, this is it. I don't really want to move anywhere else unless I have to.
Excellent. Good spot. Yeah, I've always wanted to go down to Clearwater Beach because that's, my uncle visits there. He's like, yeah, I saw Hulk Hogan jogging by.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? The Hulkster?
Yeah. He lives in Clearwater. He's got his Hogan Beach shop there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm coming down there. I'll hit you up.
Yeah. Come on down. We'll go to the beach. Well, and Jimmy Hart lives right by me as well. I see him at the Cracker Barrel all the time.
Oh, cool. That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. I mean, I live in LA, so I'm right in Hollywood. So I see plenty of, celebrities over here. It's very fun. It makes going to the grocery store interesting. You're like, was that Leo? No, it's not Leo. No.
Yeah. It's like seeing like a wild animal. You're like, oh my God, what's that?
Yeah. Oh, I don't really even recognize the big ones. I love all those like 80s actors. So if I see someone with like a bit part, I'm like, dude, I loved you in that thing that one time. They're like, how do you even know me? But,
how do you know me? My dad bumped into when he was in Los Angeles, Eddie Murphy. He saw him at a bar.
That's a big one. And my dad
was like, going up to say hi to him, and the security guards were like, no, you can't come up. And then Eddie Murphy said, he can come up. I know him. And my dad was like, whoa.
It's funny that a security guard would step to the British Bulldog.
Yeah, I think he thought my dad was like just like some, but exactly, like when you see my dad, you wouldn't want to mess with him. But I guess, security guard wasn't a fan and was doing his job. But my dad was like, I love Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy's the man. So did British Bulldog, he had the mascot, Matilda. Mm-hmm. Now, when you were watching that on TV as a kid, were you like, oh my God, I got a new puppy?
Matilda, I don't really remember very well, but my brother, he remembers her more, but she like bit my brother.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he's got like stitches here.
Oh, wow, that's too bad.
Yeah, she was a bit of a diva.
Yeah.
Bit of a diva, Matilda was. But Winston was more like, I remember seeing Winston at WrestleMania 7 in Anaheim. And I remember like my dad gave me his leash for a second and I was like so excited, but he was just kind of like, and then once my dad got him, he was all excited. But yeah, I remember that. But he wasn't like, they were really territorial of my dad. They really liked him. Whereas us, they were like,
yeah, not used to it. It's crazy though, because all these old, like, the drama that they had in WWF, it was like someone stole Matilda.
Matilda, yeah, the Islanders stole Matilda.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, they don't write like that anymore. Bring back the dog mascot. I love it.
I know. We had a bulldog and she passed away a couple years ago, but I wish she could have like had that experience going down to the ring with my brother, even if it was just like at like a little indie show, because she would have loved it. She loved people. But yeah, they were Winston, they were funny. I think Matilda went to my dad's trainer, Ted Betley, in England, and then I don't really know what happened to Winston. They just like one day they weren't there. I'll have to ask my mom. She's told me, but yeah, I'd love to have them come back. Or if my dad's induction happens, when it happens, I'd love a bulldog to be on stage.
Oh, absolutely. So is your brother, because your dad, he wrestled in his theme song, unlike a lot of other people's entrance music, his stayed the same because it's the public domain song. Like,
exactly.
Is that what Harry's wrestling under now? Does he use that?
They made up some other one of his that's like, there's no like rights to it. It's just kind of like a generic.
That's the one cool thing about the British Bulldog music. It stayed the same, or everyone else, just, I don't know, not lawsuits, but, just legal issues involved with the music.
Yeah. And that's funny that you ask that, because I get asked that question all the time. Like, why did they change Brett music and not your dad? And it's like, well, because Rule Britannia is a public song. So yeah. And whenever I hear that song, I was at Disney World a couple days ago for Harry's birthday, and we were at the British section, and they kept playing Rule Britannia on loop, and I was like, oh, they know I'm here. Hello. They know I'm here.
Harry, I put this on for your birthday.
Yeah, did it for you. But yeah, I love that song.
That's a good one. So I just read this article, WrestleMania 2, when the British Bulldogs, the tag team, they were wrestling, and in their corner, they had Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
And it was an article about Ozzy, and he's looking at the picture. He's like, I don't even remember this. He's like, what am I wearing? I have no recollection of this memory or this happening. How funny is that? Ozzy just like in WrestleMania 2, huge
Blanked.
stage, doesn't even remember it.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that, because my Aunt Joanne said, she was like, Ozzy Osbourne like called my dad's house, like my grandpa's house. She's like, he called it a bunch of times looking for Davey, my dad. I was like, Ozzy Osbourne called granddad's house? She's like, yeah. Like after that WrestleMania, I'm like, huh? What? Like,
he's trying to figure out what happened. Well, who are you?
Yeah, he's trying to figure out what happened. Exactly. Or I don't know if he felt a connection with my dad and Dynamite because they were like the other British guys.
Yeah, probably.
But I was like, weird.
Love that. I love hearing stories like that. He's just like so out of his mind. He's like, I don't remember
that. And it's like, how did he get my granddad's number? But hey, he's Ozzy Osbourne. I guess he can find that out. Yeah. Or, the phone books back then. I have no idea.
He's connected. So do you want to share any stories that maybe a fan told you of something that you weren't aware about? Maybe like I know he was like a big prankster, maybe a locker room prank or just a
cool fan story. Didn't tell me this one, but my mom told me this one. Do you remember the Godwins, like Henry Godwin and stuff? They were like the farm gimmick.
Yeah.
So my dad and Owen put the goats inside Vince's office. And when Vince went in, his papers and everything were shredded because the goats ate them all.
Love it.
And he was like, and the goats were like, meh, and they're like, the papers are coming out everywhere. And he was like, Owen, Bulldog. But like, he knew right away it was those two that did it. But I just find it hilarious. Like, my dad and Owen were like, there you go. I think they put like 3 or 4 of them in there, and they just like went to town, just ate all the papers.
I bet.
I find that hilarious.
Love it. So you want to plug the websites and just so everyone knows after listening?
So guys, the website is daveyboysmith.com. You can look at my dad's workout. You can look at his diet. You can read about me, Harry, my mom. You can look at news, events, merchandise. I got a clothing line for him right now. This is the back of it. It's my dad. My dad's thoughts on COVID-19. Just joking. But he's got also pro wrestling tees. All the stores are all linked on his website. So it's daveyboysmith.com. His Instagram it's very long, but it's the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. And on there as well, he shares news and pictures and videos and new merchandise. And he's on Facebook. It's www.facebook.com/DaveyBoySmith. And he is on Twitter at _DaveyBoySmith. So he's everywhere. He's everywhere. He's out there.
Any advice for people just like starting an Instagram? I noticed he's got 40,000 followers. It helps when he's a famous person, but are there any like social media like tricks that you use? Is it the hashtags? Is it just following a bunch of wrestling fans, or like anything you think specifically that you do?
Be consistent with it. Every day I post something. So don't and I know sometimes it might be like, well, that's every day, but if you want it to work, you have to be connected every day, in my opinion.
You're just on there, pumping it
I'm on there. I'm on there every day for his stuff. So I would do that. His page, I wish I could say, well, this is why it's blown up. I have no rhyme or reason as to why. I just did it because it's my dad and I love him and I wanted to represent him in some way. So maybe people see that and they feel the love. I don't know, but as for
made a huge impact in every wrestling fan. I remember him, and then when Axl Rose came out in the '90s with the cornrow braids, I was like, he's doing British Bulldog. He must be a British Bulldog fan.
Yeah. What was the actress's name that had the braids? What was her name? Bo Derek. Yeah. People are like, what's with him and the Bo Derek hair? But it's like, you remember him?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know whose idea that was? That was my mom's idea.
Really?
Yeah, she was like, you should get braids. But
no one else was doing it.
Nobody else was doing it. And when you remember, he was the only person. So And from head to toe, he represented England. From the beads of his braids, his red, white, and blue, his gear, everything. He wanted British everywhere because he had so much pride for it. So yeah, he
definitely had some cool outfits. It was like this arm strap said Bulldog. Like,
yes,
I love old school wrestling. It's so cool.
Yeah, and also I do some events and people can see his ring gear attire. So I did an event in New York a couple weeks ago and I brought his gear and people could see it. And it was from some fun events or iconic events that he was in. And I did it again in March, but it's hard because, you know, with group gatherings, you can't really, you know, I do it at like conventions and stuff. But yeah, on the website, it will tell you details of when I'm going to be doing that next. I was supposed to go to England November to do that. Would have been perfect because it was in Liverpool, a stone's throw away from where my dad's from. But yeah, maybe one of these days. So if I get to go to California, you can see it.
Absolutely. I'll put on the Heart Foundation vest.
The Heart Foundation vest. Yeah.
Excellent.
And I've got a cape of his as well, with like it's all like blinged out at the back of it. It says British Bulldog, so you can try that on as well.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I saw the website. You have all the workouts on there. It even says like, you know, chest days, leg days. It has all the reps. So I'm gonna start hitting those. You know, I'll do the British Bulldog workout next week.
Next week, yeah.
Next week, yeah.
And I want to try to get like a workout line for him.
Oh, that'd be awesome. So
if that's like equipment or tops, but that's like my next goal because I've got the shirts, I've got Chalkline, WWE's doing stuff. So the next thing, because my dad was so passionate about fitness, so.
Absolutely, love it. So just to wrap things up, you want to plug your Instagram? So I know
sure.
You followers too.
I mean, it's not as exciting as the British Bulldogs, but you know, it's at Georgia J. Smith. And my Twitter is Georgia Smith 87, and my Facebook is facebook.com Georgia Smith 7. I like 7 because I was born in 87. So.
Good year. Love the 80s. That's my jam right there. All right, Georgia. Thank you so much, and I'll get you up. I'll send it your way, and have a great day.
Awesome. You too. Thank you.
Good talking to you.
Good talking to you.
All right.